Oh no! Somebody hit the live button. We're live.
Indeed.
There's only one solution to that, and that is to go off of line before anyone can watch any of this.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yes, so while it doesn't make any sense in the relative term, it makes sense in the long term.
Welcome to the live stream.
Yeah, welcome to the live stream, folks. I hope that you're having a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday for those of you who are celebrating that and are in that whole thing. It looks like at least one other person is here, maybe two other people, because our poll is going mad. Hi, Mary. Hi, Heather. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are glad to see you here. How is our volume? Are we loud enough? There's about a 20-second delay, so it'll take about a 20 seconds for me to hear whether or not the audio is good.
Yeah. And hopefully you had some good food. Any particular dishes you all had that you liked?
Yeah, so if you had any Thanksgiving dishes you liked, let us know. Hi, June. Hi, Marcia. Welcome to the live stream. We're happy to see you folks. Okay, loud and clear. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Excellent. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. Everyone says that you can all hear me. Let's get started, folks. We got quite the crowd here, so we'll just jump straight into the stories. So our first letter here is titled, Am I a Jerk for Taking a Little Time to Myself in the Mornings? My wife, a 30-year-old female, Laura, and I, a 35-year-old male, have two children ages 2 and 3.5, and have been married for 5 years. Laura is a stay-at-home mom to our boys and takes the boys 3 days a week to care of her grandmother. I'm already off to a great start here, folks. Laura is a stay-at-home mom to our boys, and she takes the boys 3 days a week to care for her grandmother who has dementia. And the other 4 days, a nurse comes in. I work in retail management. My typical schedule is 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. with a 1-hour lunch if I choose to take it. I live about 45 minutes from my job, and I like to head in a little bit early, a little bit, a smidge, to get a coffee and a quick bite and send some emails from a cafe before going into work. This means that I typically leave the house between 8:30 and 9 p.m. in the mornings. After work, I am frustrated, so I stop by a 24-hour gym that I'm a member of and I run the treadmill or I lift some weights for a bit. This gets me back home about 12 o'clock or just after. On the weekends, I often have things planned with family or friends that end up using up the portion of my day. Laura is telling me that I need to stick around and help her more in the mornings. She's insisting that my morning routine isn't all that important, and I'm making her feel like a single mom. From my perspective, I enjoy my routine. I get some peace and quiet, and it's a nice way for me to prepare for the end of my day.
Where does she get her peace and quiet?
Laura wants me to be at home until she either leaves with the boys to her grandmother's or until it's closer to noon. If I did that, I would completely miss being able to go to the cafe and deal with emails while I mentally prepare myself for the day. She doesn't mind me going to the gym so much as she's usually asleep by the time that I get home. I have offered to ask my sister or mom to come by and help her out in the mornings a day or two of the week, but she rejected that idea. I feel like I've offered a compromise of sorts, but Laura tells me I haven't. All right, folks, what do you think of this?
Yes, OP, you're a major jerk. I mean, it sounds like he's doing no parenting whatsoever. He's gone from like 8:30 to 12 p.m., so he's just there long enough to sleep.
Yeah,
Like, I understand needing time for yourself, but what about your wife? When does she get time for herself? And I like how oh, well, I'll just have my sister or mom. Like, your sister and mom are not the parents here.
yeah,
You
yeah.
signed up to be a parent. Step up and be a parent. You can give up some time. I'm sure it does not take that much, like 4 hours out of your day to mentally prepare for your job and send some emails.
Well, that's just it, right? He's gone for an additional 4 hours a day, 3 to 4 hours a day that he doesn't actually have to be gone. And he literally is spending as little time from home as possible. There's a reason why she feels like a single mom,
She
right?
basically is.
She's not getting any help in the evenings. She's not getting any help in the mornings. She's just basically doing all of the childcare and then taking care of her grandmother as well.
And then she's not getting help on weekends because he has things he has to do, family and friends to hang out with.
Yeah. He can't hang out there all day. He's got a life,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much. It's like, do you even like your wife or family? I don't think you do.
Yeah, yeah. What do the comments have to say about this one? It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, well, first of all, people had some delicious foods,
Mm-hmm.
some pumpkin cheesecake,
Wow.
apple crumble, yams with brown sugar and marshmallows. Brian made gluten-free brownies yesterday using like pumpkin,
Yeah, pumpkin,
peanut butter.
peanut butter, stuff like that. But we'll get into that stuff
Yeah.
later.
So Mary says OP enjoys his routine. Well, that's all that's really important slash sarcasm.
Yeah.
June says, yes, definitely a jerk. Parenting is a full-time job. He needs to step up and help with the kids. She does sound like a single mom. And then Mary says, and he's willing to volunteer his family members. What a gem. Wife would have more of a life if they were divorced. You're the jerk. And then Heather says he is the jerk. His wife is a single mom because he doesn't help with the kids. Did he forget that he is their dad? And then Marcia says, yes, he is selfish and self-centered, in my opinion. When he is with when is he with the children?
Well, and that's just it. Like, he's never spending any time with the children.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe on the weekends, right? But that's about it. And
He's gone most of the weekend anyway.
yeah. I think like he needs to straighten up here, otherwise it's going to end up being one of these things where she's going to leave him because at least if she leaves him, then they'll be able to split custody 50-50 and then he'll be forced to have the kids half the time.
I mean, he'd probably just abdicate. He probably would not want. He does not seem the type of person who would go for 50-50 custody.
Yeah, that might be the case. That might be the case. All right. Speaking of 50-50 custody, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to host Thanksgiving after my sister handed out a family code of conduct contract? Oh, and folks, we also have an update to the Thanksgiving chronicles that we've been following. We'll get to that one. That'll be our last story, just to let you
Yes.
know. But the one where the sister wanted to make the strange food, there's an update to that one. So hang on to your seats. We'll get to that one eventually. All right. So let's get started into this one. This happened recently, and I'm still baffled. For some context, I'm a 32-year-old female, and I've hosted Thanksgiving for my family every year since I've moved into my house 5 years ago. It's always a little messy and chaotic, but that's part of the charm, right? Well, this year, my sister, a 29-year-old female, decided that she wanted to help bring some order to the gatherings. At first, I thought that she just meant coordinating who would bring what dishes or helping with cleanup. Instead, she showed up at my house last week with a printed copy of what she called a family code of conduct. She handed these out and insisted that everyone read them and sign them before attending Thanksgiving. Some highlights included rules against overlapping conversations at the dinner table, with suggestions for taking turns like a respectful debate club, a ban on political conversational topics, with her as the final arbiter of what was too heated, a dress code of smart casual because holiday photos should really reflect well on the family, assigning a seating that she claimed was based on optimal personality compatibility, and she was completely serious. When I laughed and I said, you can't be serious, she accused me of not taking her efforts to improve family dynamics seriously. I told her that I wasn't going to enforce a code of conduct at my house, and that if she wanted to micromanage Thanksgiving, that she could do it herself. She doubled down, saying that I was being ungrateful and stubborn. I canceled hosting, and now the family is mad at me. My mom thinks that I should have just humored her for the day, and my brother, a 35-year-old male, is still refusing to go anywhere unless no one tries to draft a holiday constitution. I'm torn. Was I wrong for standing my ground, or should I have let her run the day and keep the peace? All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, I don't think OP is in the wrong. I do think maybe OP could have just uninvited sister from Thanksgiving and hosted the others if she still wanted to have it.
Yeah.
OP's sister was definitely in the wrong. Like, why does she get to appoint herself judge, jury, and executioner at OP's Thanksgiving dinner? It sounds like OP is doing all the hard work, and OP's sister wants to run the roost.
Yeah.
Which, like, it just seems really strange to some of the things. Like, Thanksgiving, you should be comfortable. You shouldn't have to like have everyone dress smart casual.
Yeah, well, okay. I mean, I think a couple of those rules do make sense, right? Like no political conversation. I get that. I mean, that's probably a good general rule of topic, especially if political conversations in someone's house get overly heated. Her being the final arbiter of said political conversations, though, feels a little flimsy.
That's the thing. It's like it seems like it's all based on her interpretations of everything,
Yeah.
and making everyone sign this. I mean, it's one thing to be like, hey, people, put in the family group chat or something, be like, hey, can we just not talk about politics this year or something like that.
Yeah.
But to come like, because I do think it is helpful if there are certain things that, oh, hey, maybe we should do X, Y, or Z to have like a more optimal Thanksgiving. It's perfectly fine to ask for some topics to be left out or to ask for, some etiquette to be followed.
Yeah, yeah.
But just to like have this whole contract thing, I think is a step too far.
Oh, yeah. I think so as well. What do the comments have to say?
So June says, not the jerk. The sister would be better off having it at her house. And Mary says, how about they arrange for sis to join the Thanksgiving dinner via Zoom call? Not the jerk. And Heather says, I agree, Mary.
Yeah. I mean, I think this one's pretty straightforward. Like, don't try to impose contracts on people, and then have a mute button on her. That would probably be go over real well, I imagine.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. What if it's actually OP's sister who's making the dinners all unpleasant?
Yeah, it might be. It might be. Like she may just like want to exert control over those situations so that she can finally like get her last word in or something like that. I mean, we all know those kinds of people who are like, yeah, I need the last word in order to feel like I mean to have their say, right? All right, speaking of having the last word, our next letter is titled My Husband Talking to a Woman While our Baby is in the Hospital. Our son, too, has a restrictive lung disease. His lungs can't handle sickness, and he ends up in the hospital when he catches something. We just came home from the hospital, and my baby had a cold, which turned into bronchitis, and he needed the nebulizer and everything. He was there for 4 days. I stayed with my son constantly, but my husband has to work, so he came home afterwards. I remember one evening was really exhausting, and I dozed off in his lap. After my son went to sleep, I woke up and he was on his phone with someone who was calling baby. I didn't move, so he kept talking. He was stroking my hair while I slept, but talking to this woman about being intimate with her and seeing her. He told her to send him a picture. I got up after he got off the phone. It obviously didn't feel good to hear those things, but I've been so worried about my son that I didn't have the energy to be upset in the moment. Now that my son is better at home, I've thought about it more. No, I didn't believe my husband was 100% loyal to me before this, but I really hate that he did this while our baby was sick and suffering. I don't know if I'm wrong for feeling that way, but it just feels extra wrong. How could he do that? I love my husband, and our relationship works despite his ways, but this hurt my heart in a way that other things haven't. All right, folks, what do you think about this one?
I mean, OP is not in the wrong for being upset with her husband about this. Honestly, if anything, I feel like she's underreacting.
Oh, for sure she's underreacting.
Like what he did is just so I feel so horrible for this poor person and the child. Like I just don't know. Like your child is sick in the hospital, and all you can think about is intimate activities with your affair partner.
Yeah. Like, I mean, this has gotten to the point where OP feels like it's normalized,
Mm-hmm.
and she basically accepts him for what he does, right? And like everyone's gonna have a different threshold for accepting infidelity and whatnot. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying that she has to end the relationship or anything like that, because some people are fine with this, and or maybe they're passively fine with it. They don't want to hear about it, they don't want to know about it, but they just don't. It's not a good situation, but they're willing to accept it because the stability of their family unit, right?
Right, or they may not have an easy way to get out or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's not, if one partner has, greater resources or something like that, it can be hard to leave a situation.
Yeah. So I don't fault her for staying in the situation, but I think that she should be holding him more accountable, and she should definitely confront him about this. if she feels comfortable, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard because like you have to walk a mile in someone's shoes before you can kind of live their situation. But I think this guy, she's certainly not wrong
Right,
for,
to be upset over this.
yeah.
And I wonder, like, I know she says that things work, but it's like,
Are they
are
working?
they working? How much has he just like worn her down and just normalized her to this? Because this is not how a relationship should be. You should be able to have a partner who is there to support your
Mm-hmm.
child
Exactly.
and you. Like, you should be a team supporting your child together, supporting each other. That should be your main and basically, focus in that time period.
Yeah. Oh, and I also wanted to say welcome, Sakara, for joining us. And I also never said welcome to welcome, sweet memories. And I think I said hi to Heather. I can't recall for sure. But everyone, hello, everyone. Mary and June too. Well, just say hi to everyone who's on
Very
here. And
good.
Marcia, we're all here. Hail, hail, the gang's all here. All right. What do the comments have to say?
Mary says, my heart breaks for OP and son. OMG, the hubby is detestable. How can she still love him? Not the jerk, but leave. June says, this poor lady, she knows what is going on. She needs to confront her husband. And then Mary says she cannot concentrate her attention on the son if she doesn't waste energy on the creep.
Yeah. Yeah. All very good. All very good advice there.
Yeah.
But speaking of creeps, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to let my roommate's boyfriend live with us after he tested me?
I mean, this segue kind of works.
No, it works
Actually,
great. It works great.
you
I knew it.
finally have one that kind of works. Yeah.
Yes, finally, finally. I'm a
Actually, it
19
may
year
work better than I'm giving you credit for. This one works.
Yeah, no. I'm a 19-year-old female and I live with my roommate. We'll call her Ashley, a 20-year-old female, in a small 2-bedroom apartment. We've been friends since high school and decided to split rent when we both started college. Things were fine at first, but then she started dating Jake, a 22-year-old male. At first, he was just over a couple nights a week, which I didn't mind, but over the past few months, he's basically moved in, eating our food, using our stuff, and not contributing a single dime to rent or bills. I finally had enough and I told Ashley that either Jake needed to start paying his share or to stop practically living here. She apologized and said that she would talk to him. I thought that was the end of it. Well, fast forward to last week. I was getting ready to start heading out to a late night study group when Jake cornered me in the kitchen. He told me that he wanted to test me to see if I would be a good person to live with full time. I was confused and I asked what he meant. He said that if I wanted him to pay rent, I had to prove that I was roommate material by showing that I could handle sharing the space with someone like him. He then gave me a list of rules that he would want me to follow if he officially moved in, and things like my share of the cooking, even though I already make all of my own meals, not bringing any guys over, I'm single, but why is that even relevant? And being respectful of his game time by keeping the Wi-Fi free during his streams. I laughed in his face and I told him that there was no way that he was moving in. He got mad and Ashley and I and that said that he got mad and told Ashley that I was being unresponsible or unreasonable even. She confronted me and said that Jake was just testing the waters and that I should have been more open to the ideas. She accused me of being jealous because I'm single and suggested that I was trying to sabotage the relationship. Now she's saying that if I can't be supportive, then maybe she should get a new roommate and respect her boundaries. I think that's completely ridiculous, but Ashley and a couple of her friends are siding with Jake. They're calling me selfish and controlling. Am I the jerk for refusing to let him move in after his ridiculous test? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. Why does he get to decide whether or not OP can have guys over? Like, that one in particular stands out to me, that he wants to control OP's ability to have guys into a house that he has actually no part in. But even if he did, like, that is just really weird. And then oh well, you have to be off the Wi-Fi so I can have my streams, like. And I'm wondering about the food, if by contributing like to her fair share of meals he means prepare food for me.
Yeah, 1 second, I'm going to pause there and welcome Tuesday and Alter. Welcome you both. Yeah, I'm wondering if it's the same. It seems like, well, I think he's kind of trying to set up his own little harem. Is really what I mean. Maybe I'm just getting some bad vibes here, right?
Yeah, they're
Like,
definitely bad vibes.
why would he why would OP not be able to have a boyfriend while he's living there? Like, that sounds like some kind of strange nonsense going on there. Like, I don't get warm fuzzies about that at all.
No.
And the fact that he's like, you need to cook food, I mean, I don't know. I really feel like he's trying to set this up so that he gets all the benefit of living here.
Hmm.
OP becomes like a handmaiden to him, and he can be waited on hand and foot while he lives here. I don't know. I get bad feelings about this.
Well, yeah, and the audacity of like, you have to prove yourself worthy of being in my presence, being my roommate. It's an
Yeah,
honor to be my roommate.
yeah. With roommates like those,
Yeah.
what would the comments have to say?
So Marcia says, already put off in time to get a new roommate. Mary says, this is a combo that should have been held with all three of them, testing the waters. Try finding another roommate.
Yeah,
June says, not the jerk. He is just trying to gaslight her. She should move out and let them both live together. And Sakura says, not the jerk. Sir, you do not live here. I do. Go home.
yeah.
Mary says, the two of them sound like a match made. No one else will put up with this trash, not the jerk. And then Sweet Memory says, he can live with his girlfriend in the same house as OP, but OP can't have guys over. What the fudge?
Yeah. Speaking of unreasonable demands, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for putting my family on a school-wide intervention watch list? I mean, unreasonable demands, you'll see why. It works here. It
does
almost
work,
works. It
but
does work.
OP is not the one with the unreasonable demand.
I'm a 31-year-old female, and I have an 8-year-old daughter who just started at a new school this year. She's been adjusting well, except for one issue, my overly meddling family. Here's the backstory. My mom and older sister are the ultimate PTA queens. They volunteer for everything at my daughter's school, from bake sales to lunchtime monitors. They've always had opinions on how I raise my kid, but since they got access to the school, they've taken things to a whole new level. It started small, like swapping out snacks that I packed in her lunch because they thought fruit roll-ups aren't nutritious. Fine, annoying, but whatever. Then it escalated. They'd show up during recess and try to improve her social skills by forcing her to play with the kids that she doesn't even like. One day, my daughter told me that her grandma made her hand out homemade motivational cards to every classmate during recess because she thought that it would make her popular. My daughter was mortified. The final straw was when they pulled her out of gym class because they thought that the teacher's activities were too aggressive for a girl. And then they enrolled her in knitting club without asking me. My daughter was crying because she wanted to play dodgeball, but my mom told her that it was unladylike. So I went straight to the principal and we had a meeting. I requested that my family be placed on an intervention watch list. This means that they're no longer allowed to interfere with my daughter's activities, lunches, or basically anything at school without explicit permission from me. The principal agreed, and I thought that was over. Well, now my family is furious. My mom is calling me ungrateful for all the help that she's given, and my sister said that I'm ruining my daughter's life by not letting them guide her properly. They've even started a smear campaign in our PTA group, claiming that I'm a negligent parent who doesn't want what's best for my kid. So Reddit, am I the jerk for taking this drastic step? All right, folks, what do you think of this?
Well, there's also one other important piece of information is that the way OP's mom has gotten access to the daughter so much is because she is listed as a co-guardian. That's something OP mentions in the comments. She's been trying to get the mom removed, but for current OP's mom is a co-guardian, and
Yeah.
that's why she's had access.
I mean, this kind of sounds like small town stuff.
It does. I mean, I don't think OP's in the wrong for not wanting her mom and sister meddling anymore. I mean, I don't even know why they're at the school so often. It just sounds like they're there all day, every day, monitoring things. Like
Yeah.
when I was a kid, parents would be there for field trips, and that was about it. You know.
Well, it sounds like they also have like lunch monitoring duties and stuff like that. So it sounds like the reason why I kind of pinned this as like small town is because it sounds like they're volunteering a lot at the school and doing like small town, like they're being lunch monitors, they're doing different functions at the school and stuff like that. So they're a constant fixture inside of the school.
Right, but they're not even doing them well because their entire focus is on OP's daughter. Because if you're a lunch monitor, you know, or a recess monitor, like, which we didn't have those at my school, but like if you are one, I assume the goal of that is to make sure that there's like no fights breaking out or anything like that. You're just kind of like making sure that the kids are getting along as harmoniously as possible.
Yeah.
Whereas they are actively just focusing on OP's daughter, redirecting her, and trying to, you know, make her do what they think is best.
Yeah, yeah. But what do the comments have to say?
So Mary says, Mom and sis need a life, but not OP's life. How are they getting access to her school? Most schools wouldn't allow relatives on campus if the parents say no. Sakura says, not the jerk. Talk about overbearing family members. Walter says, overbearing doesn't even begin to cover it, not the
Yeah.
jerk.
Yeah.
And June says, that's sad that she had to do that to her. Her family is ridiculous. They need to go. She needs to go low contact with them.
Yeah, I can agree on all that. I mean, I think that this is just it's an unfortunate situation. I don't think OP is in the wrong here. I just think that this is, hopefully, if OP keeps pushing, then they can eventually get the uh, mom and sister out of the school. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge though, because it sounds like they're kind of like they have their talons right
Right.
into like all this like small town stuff, right?
Yeah, well, they're like the PTA queens, and so they're getting
Hmm.
all the other PTA people
Yeah.
on board.
They don't have anything better to do with their time other than interfere with OPs and how they raise their child. Speaking of not having anything better to do with their time and outsourcing help, uh, I'm a 34-year-old female and my husband, a 39-year-old male, is outsourcing care for our newborn and lied about it. My husband and I had our first child 4 weeks ago, and we agreed to split the parenting responsibilities as much as possible. Throughout our relationship, my husband has preferred to delegate things, whereas I prefer to do things myself. For example, he opted to hire someone for his portion of house cleaning, and I was fine with that because our finances are separate. Well, since our baby was born and I've been very sleep deprived, starting about 2 weeks ago, we've been taking shifts at night to care for the baby. We have a small guest cottage in our yard, and my husband takes our baby there during his shifts because I've been so anxious and sensitive to waking whenever the baby cries. This has helped me some, and he's been a lot better rested as well. He's been able to be more supportive during the day, which has made a big difference for me. Well, a few days ago, I woke up painfully engorged and I had to go and pump. I was feeling anxious and I went to our guest house to check on the baby. I was shocked to find a young woman sitting on the couch. She seemed just as surprised to see me, and I was so sleep deprived that I thought that I had walked into my neighbor's house. We stared at each other for a few seconds until my husband walked in. He confessed to me that he had been hiring a night doula to care for our baby during the nights, as he found it impossible to sleep knowing that the baby might wake him at any time. I was outraged, but I was too tired to argue. In the morning, my husband apologized for going behind my back, but maintained that this was still a fair arrangement as he is taking care of his share of the night responsibilities. He pointed out that it was working out well for both of us before I found out. He didn't see this as any different from the house cleaning. He pointed out that I could hire my own night doula if I wanted to. I feel strongly that this is different than outsourcing other things like cleaning or buying gifts. How do I explain to my husband that it is different? All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, Opie's husband knows it is different because he's been upfront about the cleaners. There's a
Mm-hmm.
reason why he wasn't upfront about the night doula.
Yeah.
We're talking about someone who's looking after your child. Like buying gifts, if you mess up a gift, worst case scenario, it's a bad gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, if someone's cleaning your house, like they could take your stuff. That's not cool. But if someone is handling your child and they are not a good carer for your child, then there could be really bad consequences. This is why a lot of times both parents will want vetting process when
Yeah.
it comes to who's taking care, especially a young child who's too young to verbalize what's going on with them.
Well, I would also say that gift giving really should be something that is done on the behalf of the individual. Like you shouldn't outsource gift giving,
Yeah, I'm
right?
not saying I
Yeah,
agree
yeah.
with that aspect of it. I just meant like there's an order of magnitude of like the what's the worst that could happen.
Yeah, but I to the point of the letter itself, I think that you're right. He does know the difference because he hasn't shared this with OP. If he was really this confident that this would be fine, he would have talked to her ahead of time before hiring the night doula to say, "Hey, why don't we hire a night doula? I'm having a really hard time sleeping. You're having a really hard time sleeping. We'll hire her. We'll both get a good night's rest. I'll be there and I'll monitor while she's over there. That way you don't have to worry about it or anything like that, right?" I mean, that could have worked out probably a little bit better than walking in on her.
Right, like OP doesn't know who this person is who is handling her child.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a scary experience. And from the husband's lackadaisical attitude, like I don't necessarily trust him to hire someone who to be a good child carer.
Yeah. I'm going to throw a scenario here, Ashu. What happens if it isn't a night doula?
I mean, that's my concern too. That's another concern.
What happens if this is an affair partner that he's going out to have an affair with?
I mean, it could be, but I mean, what if that was a cover up?
Yeah.
I'm guessing in this case it probably is a night doula or something. But yeah, we don't know who this person is. Opie hasn't been able to vet them, and yeah, if you're taking your young child to see other people, it's important to be communicating that with your partner so you can make sure your partner is on board and you can both vet the people together.
Yeah, what do the comments have to say?
So June says, wow, I could not ever trust him again. Mary says, outsourcing childcare. What else is he outsourcing with this young woman? Not the jerk, red flag country. Malter says, this is the sort of thing that needs to be cleared with both parents. Also worried for the baby's immune system. Yeah, that's a good point. Sweet Memories says, what a terrible husband and father, not putting in any effort and not creating a bond with his daughter. Malter says, optics aren't great.
No, they're not.
Marcia says she needs to hire a nanny to help out. Why did he lie? Brian, you're funny.
Yeah.
And then June says, I thought the same thing, Brian.
Yeah. I mean, the optics aren't great. They really aren't great. A mysterious woman shows up in the middle of the night. You tell me what that looks like. Speaking of bad optics, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for saying no to my boyfriend when he asked to take my contraceptive pill? So I'm a 22-year-old female, and I've been on the contraceptive pill for a while, and my boyfriend, a 24-year-old male, knows this. Recently, he asked me if he could take one of my pills to help his performance. He said that he read somewhere that it could make him last longer, and he thought that it could work for him. I told him absolutely no. I explained that this is my medication, it's meant for me, it's not safe for him to take it without knowing what could happen to his body. He got frustrated and said that I was being controlling and overreacting. He also said that it shouldn't matter since it's not like I need it for any health conditions. I feel like I'm just trying to protect him from doing something that could be really harmful, but now I feel guilty. Was I in the wrong for saying no? This is dumb of me, but am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think of this one?
No, not the jerk. I mean, the audacity of him. Oh, you don't need this for any health condition. Oh, just not getting pregnant. Like, that's a pretty important thing to have the pill for.
Yeah, $5. $5. I want everyone to tell me what you think of this theory I have here. $5. He's not going to take the pill, and he's just getting rid of her birth control.
I mean, he could be because, and there are some places like I know in Maine now you can buy birth control over the counter.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure about all states. I think different states have laws around it. But,
yeah.
So if he really wanted birth control, I mean, it could be. It's either there's one of two things. Either one, he wants it and he's too scared to like talk to a doctor about it because he's read some weird dude bro thing online with misinformation that tells you that taking progesterone and estrogen is going to enhance your performance, which no, that does not seem right at all. Or two, he is trying to like just discreetly get rid of her stash.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, she absolutely needs this birth control. Don't take other people's medication.
Birth
blah, blah.
control comes like with a laundry list of potential side effects.
Yeah. But what do the comments have to say?
So, let's see. Mary says, what? Mulder says, more like bad sex ed, what, WTF? Sweet Memory says, I've never heard that before. Tuesday said, it's not like I need it. What, does he want her to get pregnant?
Yeah, I think he does.
Mary says, she to consult a doc, not the jerk. June says, yikes, not the jerk. This man is the jerk. Sakura says, not the jerk, sir. This is my birth control. Mulder says, I know there are some guys who think they can take birth control on their end for extra protection, but that's not how it works.
No.
And Marcia says, seriously, why would she even question that decision? One missed pill and she could get her pregnant. And Sakura says, though it's very concerning, he keeps trying to take it from her.
Yeah, I would really be worried if I were OP, and I would definitely keep my birth control under lock and key at this point in time. All right, folks, speaking of keeping things under lock and key, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for getting upset after my husband took our baby to an unknown place for a sleepover? We'll see if that segue works, folks.
I mean, you might want to keep some things under lock and key after this.
I'm a 30-year-old female, and my husband is a 37-year-old male, and we welcomed a beautiful baby boy last fall. He is the most adorable little boy ever, playful and bubbly. Recently, a mutual friend had told me that he has seen my husband and the baby in a certain area at night a couple of weeks ago. Naturally, I was taken aback and I was confused because I don't live there and they have no business being there. Also, I was at work that day, and he was supposed to be at home with the baby since they saw me that off to work. Well, my mind went through multiple scenarios of what could have gone wrong at what place, and I believed that it was completely irresponsible to jeopardize my son's safety like that. I started digging and I realized that it was true, and I didn't know the woman in question. I confronted my husband, and he didn't deny it. I blew up and I asked him why he thought that he could take our child, who was clearly barely a year old, anywhere without informing me for the night, and he argued that it was a play date. Oh, I'm sure there was some kind of playing going on, right? I demanded to know the identity of the woman, and he declined to say anything about her. If he's hiding anything, why won't he just tell me? He then proceeded to say that I'm overreacting and that there's no reason to be angry, and I told him to go away. Am I the jerk? P.S. If she turns out to be an affair partner, I fully intend to divorce him. All right, folks, what do you think of the optics on this one?
Lawyer up, OP. I do not see any other option here. Like, oh, it's a play date overnight. Like, that's not when people have play dates.
Oh, I mean, that's not when people have play dates of
For their children.
for their children.
Like, of all the lies he could come up with, who says, oh yeah, I know it was in the middle of the night, but the babies, they like to party at midnight.
Yeah, I mean, we just love playing with blocks in the middle of the night. You don't understand. Have you ever played with blocks in the middle of the night? They're fun. They're more fun.
Like, so I think I mean, again, it goes back to kind of the other story we did where when you have young children, both parents need to be aware of who's being involved in the child's life for safety reasons. And the fact that he won't disclose this woman's identity, like, yes, he's 100% cheating. I have no doubt of that. But like, even if he wasn't, like, that is enough to be very concerned about because it's proving that he's not trustworthy.
I mean, she could be a night doula.
Yeah.
She could be a night doula.
It could be. Maybe it's
What do the comments have to say?
So Sweet Mary says, not the jerk, don't even need to hear the story. Sakura says, not the jerk, 100% a fair partner. June says she should be angry, he's definitely lying. And Walter says, oh yeah, nothing to be worried about, only the safety of your infant child.
Yeah, everything's fine here, folks. Just fine. Speaking of everything being just fine, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my boyfriend that it's weird to shower with his older sister? So this one's a really weird one, folks. I'm gonna preface that right ahead. So my boyfriend is a 20-year-old male and I'm a 20-year-old female, and we've been dating since we were 13. Over the course of our relationship, he has mentioned a few times that he and his older sister, a 24-year-old female, used to shower together until he was like 11 and she was almost 14. Personally, I find this a bit odd. In my opinion, the maximum age for siblings to shower is around 6, and even that seems like a stretch. Now on to the real story. I recently went with my boyfriend and his family to their cottage for the weekend. The cottage is surrounded by a large lake, so we went swimming, so they're on an island. I don't think that's what they really mean. Afterwards, we all needed a shower, so his mom and dad went first, leaving me, my boyfriend, and his sister. My boyfriend's father suggested that it would be best for us to shower together to conserve water. While I didn't fully understand the logic behind it, I went along with the idea, assuming that my boyfriend and I would shower together, and his sister would go alone. I even asked the sister if she wanted to go first, but my boyfriend interrupted me. He said that he and his sister are going to go shower together, which left me confused. I asked what he was talking about, and he explained that it would be weird for us to shower together because his parents would know that we've seen each other naked. I was stunned and pointed out that we've been together since we were 13, lived together, and obviously have seen each other naked. I also added that showering with a sister, especially at 20 and 24 years old, is weird. His sister chimed in saying that it was only weird if I make it weird, and that I shouldn't be jealous because they're siblings. And ultimately, my boyfriend ended up showering with me, but I can't shake the feeling that the situation is strange. Am I the jerk? Edit, my boyfriend and his sister were both born in Canada, but his parents were born in Vietnam. Might be a cultural thing that I'm not aware of. My family is from Greece and we've never showered together, so possibly could just be weird from my point of view. All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, I think most people are going to find this a little bit odd. And I would assume that when the dad said that they should shower together, I would hope he meant OP and the boyfriend. Like, they've been together since they were 13. They live together. you'd have to be pretty like writing a very interesting fantasy in your head not to make the assumption that they'd see each other naked. So it's very strange that the boyfriend's immediate thought is, but my parents can't know we've seen each other naked.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, June is having issues with the comments. So I would say, June, if you can't see the comments, hit the little drop-down box and see if you can change it to live chat. So yeah, it's a weird situation, right? I think that this is one of those kinds of things where he maybe it's cultural because, and I haven't ever heard of this kind of cultural
I've
thing.
never heard of this being customary anywhere, but my knowledge is limited.
Yeah,
So
and I mean maybe some families do exercise this, but I would be weirded out if I were the sister that he would suggest this even, right?
yeah,
So I don't know. I just think that this is a very uncomfortable situation, and I can't blame OP for questioning it and wondering at this point in time because it is a little peculiar. It's very, very
it
peculiar.
is peculiar. And like even in the cases where there are cultural differences, like it you do have to like
I mean, maybe would be wearing bathing suits. I mean, if we give them the
if
benefit
we
of the
give them the
doubt, though.
benefit of the doubt. But it sounds like he was didn't want his parents thinking that he and OP were showering naked, and he and his sister were fine with like because OP is like, well then why would you shower with your sister naked?
Yeah, it's a weird
Um,
one. It's a
it is a
weird one.
weird one. But there, it may just be like if this is something he's very committed to, then like they may just not be compatible.
Yeah,
Uh, because I can understand why OP would be disconcerted by this. This is something that would be a giant red flag to me.
yeah. All right. What do the comments have to say? I mean,
Uh,
probably other than like this is weird.
it's pretty much the gist of it. Yuck,
Yeah.
that's all I can say. Dad suggested this. The whole family is a box of loose screws. It's so weird. I forgot to read people's names, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Tuesday
Yeah.
says, I'm very uncomfortable. I don't understand why it would be bad for the parents to know they've seen each other naked, but not see his sister naked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is so. It's a very strange one.
Speaking of being uncomfortable, but not that uncomfortable, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for being mean to my wife for buying me a trip to Cancun resort for my 40th birthday? My wife and I have been together for 20 years, married for 15 of those years. That being said, my wife has been well aware that I do not like traveling. I don't mind road trips, a state away or two, but that's about it. I hate flying and I really don't like surprises. These are facts that I've made known for decades at this point. My wife, however, in the past 5 or 6 years has really started to have an itching for travel because her friends are traveling. Back in August, she kept insisting that our family get passports. During this whole process, I repeatedly said that I don't think that it's necessary because I hate traveling. But I relented when she said that we may take the kids out of the country at some point in time in the future. In September, she told me to take November 21st and November 22nd off from work. Of course, when I asked why, she refused to tell me. After some pressing, she said that surprise with me. After some pressing, she said that she's surprising me with a trip to a resort in Cancun for my 40th birthday. At this point, I'm floored, not in a good way. I asked her why she did this. I reiterated that I hate flying and said that I wanted a simple dinner at my favorite restaurant and a video game for my birthday, etc. She starts getting watery eyes and says that she sold a bunch of her work stock to fund the trip, and I relent and I say that we can go to Cancun. Well, in October, our dog gets some cancer. Treatment is freaking expensive, so I tell my wife to return the plane tickets. She says that she can't because it's too late to get her money back. When I asked her how much she paid, she said nearly $2,000. This gets me upset all over again because at this point, we're looking terribly financially. We're paying vet bills, are downsizing our AC unit, or our downstairs AC unit broke and had to be completely replaced for $7,000 back in August, and she's splurging on a trip to Cancun. I get mad and I tell her that if she had $2,000 to blow on a trip, she could have asked me what I actually wanted. Got me a PS5, some dinner at my favorite spot, and put the rest towards the mounting debt. Again, she starts with a shaky voice and the watery eyes, so I just get over it and I sell off a huge portion of my retro game collection to keep us afloat. Well, November really starts to hit me that this trip isn't even for me. She likes to travel, she likes to fly, she wants to go to Cancun, and it's my birthday, and my birthday is the perfect excuse to go. So I've been building up a lot of resentment about being broke with December's being fast approaching. We have 2 kids, one of which is born right before Christmas, so our funds are going to be tight from needing to buy presents. The whole thing comes off as her being financially irresponsible and using my birthday as an excuse to do some traveling to make her happy. This past week, I've been kind of a jerk to her because I'm starting to build resentment here, and I haven't spoken to her in a week. I also randomly went out with some friends and I rubbed it in her face that they actually take me to places that I want to go. I'm also seriously considering buying her a PS5 and taking her to my favorite dinner spot for her birthday in April. Some edits. She booked the trip in September, the AC unit went out in August. We do travel. We go on family vacations every year. We've gone on several cruises out of the country in the past 10 years. We've taken a few plane trips to Orlando and Vegas as well. I'm not sure why people assume that I expect her to sit at home every day and never travel. If she wanted to travel on her birthday, I absolutely would go wherever she wanted to because it's the day that it's all about her and celebrates her. One of the big issues that I have with her actions is that it's being done on my birthday. Yes, I have hobbies. I have a strict budget for these hobbies, and since the kids were born, I've cut down drastically and have cut down drastically to make sure, I think they mean, that they're able to put money in college savings accounts every month since birth. My family is not neglected because of this. I spend a ton of time with my kids. I feel like I have to reiterate this because I'm down to travel outside of the country with my wife on special occasions to celebrate her and our relationship. I would absolutely just get over it for her, and I've done so in the past. My issue is that this is being done on my birthday. The one thing that doesn't make sense to me about that is that they just got passports, right? So the fact that he says that they do travel out of the country doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, it's possible their passport's expired, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think they need couples counseling ASAP if they want to salvage this relationship. Like, I definitely understand OP's frustration, but I think he's let it build up way too far.
Oh, yeah.
Because what his wife did was really unacceptable. It's very clear that she wanted to buy a present for herself under the guise that it was for him, and that's not a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And then she was using money that they couldn't really spare. Like, she's selling off their investments to be able to finance this trip at a time when they're already tight financially. So I don't blame him for being upset, but he is not handling this in a healthy way, and he is turning into a jerk by giving her the silent treatment and like rubbing things in her face and like like planning on giving her a PS5 for her birthday.
Yeah.
It's starting to get to like that eye for an eye territory, which is only going to build more anger and resentment and not resolve the issues.
Yeah, this should have been counseling a long time ago. They should have
Mm-hmm.
gone to couples counseling and then kind of sat down and talked over these problems because I just don't think that he's in a healthy mindset at this point in time. Now, as for her giving him this gift, I think she was in the wrong for giving him this gift.
Mm-hmm.
I really do feel like it was a gift for her,
Mm-hmm.
not a gift for him, in that maybe she should have asked for like a trip to Cancun for her birthday or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as for the pet getting cancer, that's no one's fault.
No, of course.
And there's no way that she could have seen that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, sometimes you have emergency funds, but you're not expecting to have that big of an emergency, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not like she did this on purpose. She didn't have a crystal ball. And I don't really feel like she was that irresponsible from one avenue, but I mean certainly like if you're already kind of tight with your budget, then maybe splurging $2,000 isn't the best idea. Spending some time to save up for it over a
Mm-hmm.
long period is probably a good idea. And the AC unit and all that other stuff. It sounds like the AC unit was already kind of in the works. So I don't know. I mean, it's a difficult situation, but I think that the financial aspect of things is really causing a lot of friction in their, relationship.
Yeah, well, finances are like the biggest factor in relationship decline, and it does not seem like they have the same priorities. And
Mm-hmm.
so maybe talking to a financial advisor as well. I mean, definitely start some counseling, work on building a budget that they can both be happy about.
Yeah. But let me know what the comments have to say here.
So Mary says, "Look what I bought me for your birthday."
Yeah.
June says, "It sounds like she got this vacation for herself." Sakura says everyone's the jerk. They need couples therapy today. Mary says, I can't blame OP for bringing up his gift from his friends, but getting revenge on her birthday doesn't sound like they can afford that. Mulder says, this is a massive jerk move on the wife's part, but please make sure the kids have up-to-date passports. Marcia says, it doesn't make sense to me either, travel, but they say that they don't travel. Maybe she just wants to go and have fun. And then Sweet Memory says, the AC broke down before she booked the tickets. Wife could plan a Cancun trip with her friends.
Yeah, well, I had noted that, but I mean, I think it's a difficult situation because, like, if you don't know how much something's going to cost, right? And if they had enough money for the AC unit, and she still is, I don't know. I mean, it's hard. I think that they need financial counseling and marriage counseling, for sure. Speaking of needing marriage counseling, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for calling my mom's idea to give birth to her own... I guess this isn't... my segue is bad.
Your segue is bad.
Very bad. I thought it was different in my head. Am I the jerk for calling my mom's idea to give her birth to her own grandchild, an incest baby? All right. Sorry about that, folks. She knows that I am child-free by choice. Ever since I was 15, she has been bringing up the idea that I should give her my eggs to become pregnant and that we could be a co-parent. At a family function, she announced that I am scared to give birth and that she was going to become pregnant with her own grandchild because I wanted her to do it for me. This is absolute BS. My relatives were angry at me, saying that I was putting my mom's life at risk and that I was being selfish because I was scared of pregnancy. Because of the backlash, I outed her as wanting to have an incest baby, and now she has been asking for my eggs for years with the hope of co-parenting. My mom wants me to take it back because she says that it looks ridiculous. I don't want to take it back because I was telling the truth. Am I the jerk? And to clarify, she wants us to co-parent like a couple so the baby has two moms. All right, folks, what do you think of this one?
Not the jerk. I mean, it sounds ridiculous because it is ridiculous. Like, the mom is trying to use OP for her own gain.
Yeah.
She wants another baby and it to be genetically related to her, and so she wants OP's eggs and then for them to co-parent. That is an interesting desire, but you can't just dictate another person's life. And the way she tried to, like, peer pressure OP into this by announcing it at a family function, like, that was not cool. So of course OP has to step in and say, hey, I want no part of this.
Yeah, I think that OP needed to clear the air as quickly as possible because this is absolutely not something that the mother should get away with, right? If she's going to try to guilting OP and using family pressure like this, then she should expect OP to, tell the truth, because if the truth makes you look bad, then it's probably that you're bad, right?
Right, like OP's body is her own, and she needs to be able to make her own decisions. Her mom does not get to dictate what she does with her body.
Yeah, and it sounds like mom was either trying to get the family to guilt her into having a baby.
That's my guess, is that she's not happy about OP not having children, and so she's kind of using this scheme to, like, pressure OP into having a child.
Yeah, or have a child on her own, and then it's a win-win for her. But what do the comments have to say?
Walter says, OP is child-free by choice, and that's as far as the conversation should have gone.
Yep.
Sakura says, not the jerk, as a child-free woman. This disgusted me and insulted me on so many levels. Mary said, speaking of screws loose, wow, mom is the selfish one, and she announces this in front of family. Did any of the family shut her down or gag? Marcia says, mom needs to leave her daughter alone and go for counseling. Sweet Memory says, mom is unhinged. I don't get this at all. And Walter says, mom is treating her like a genetic extension or something. Massive ick.
Pretty much. Speaking of massive ick, no, not really. This one doesn't work. That doesn't work here. I don't know. Speaking of ridiculousness, absurdity, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for taking my female coworker to a show after my wife turned me down? All right, folks, we'll read this one, we'll do tea time, and then we'll finally get to the Thanksgiving update that we've all been looking forward to. I'm a 32-year-old male, and I need some honest feedback. My wife, Kristen, a 30-year-old female, has always been a bit snooty about my music taste. She particularly hates an indie band that I listen to a lot and constantly makes fun of me for liking them. When I found out that they were having a show in town, I was super excited. I even asked Kristen if she wanted to go, thinking that maybe she would surprise me. But, of course, she totally annihilated me. She laughed in my face and said something along the lines of, "You think that I would go with you to listen to that terrible band? What do you think that I have my, what? Do you think that I like having my eardrums piercing with ridden needles? Tetanus ridden needles. Please." Not a good insult. Pretty bad. Feeling a little defeated, I asked my coworker Sarah, a 28-year-old female, if she wanted to go. She's a huge fan too, and we've bonded over our mutual love of the band. We had a blast at the show. When I got home, Kristen lost her mind. She started yelling at me, saying that she would have gone if I had just asked her nicely. She says that I was disrespectful and that I should have asked her a couple more times first. I feel terrible. I didn't mean to hurt her feelings, but I was also tired of her constant judgment. Am I the jerk for taking Sarah to the concert? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, I mean, the ridiculousness of the wife here. Like, why should he? She made her position very clear. She's made her position very clear from the get-go. He asked he if she wanted to go, and she shoots him down in a horrible way,
Yeah.
and then expects him to like beg her.
Yeah. Tetanus rusted needles stabbing her eardrums, right?
Like,
That's what she said about this. Why would he ask her multiple times with that kind of like insult here?
like you can politely decline to go to something like, because it's fine if you don't have the same taste in music. You know, Brian and I don't like all the same bands, but like I'm not gonna tell him, like mock him and be like, why would you think I would want to have my ears pierced with tetanus needles? Like that's, you know, that's way too far. You can politely decline it, and but then once you decline, like he respected her declination, and she's like, oh, you should have just begged me, basically.
Yeah. Well, it also doesn't sound like he kept this from her, the fact that he was going to be going to this
Yeah, now if he
concert.
kept it a secret, then I would say
Yeah.
that they're both did something wrong here.
Yeah.
Certainly, he needed to be upfront about it, like, because the optics could be bad if he's keeping it secret.
Yeah, I mean, I think like it really depends. Like if that is missing from there, if he kind of secretly went to this concert with Sarah without telling the wife, then that's probably not a great thing to have done. But if he was open and honest, as I'm assuming that he was, then yeah, there's nothing wrong with taking her. And I think the wife is just being ridiculous. And welcome, Cute Spiel, to the show. What do the comments have to say?
So Cute Spiel says, OMG, the wife is such a jerk. June says, yes, he's the jerk. I really don't think this couple needs to be together. Mary says, OP, say you like Nickelback without saying you like Nickelback. But not the jerk. Ask me again. Why? I feel offended. I love Nickelback. They're my childhood right there. That's okay. Not everyone does.
And not everyone likes having their eardrums pierced with tetanus-ridden needles.
You're so rude.
I'm just kidding.
This is what I had to deal with. See, he does get on my case about Nickelback.
Oh, it's just some good fun.
It isn't good fun. Anyway, Sakura says, not a jerk, and I would second guess staying married to someone who makes fun of things I'm passionate about, especially in a condescending way. June says he still shouldn't have taken another woman, maybe a male friend. He is still married. Marcia says, did he ask his wife first if she minded going with a coworker? That's the key to a relationship.
Yeah, I do think so.
And Malter says it's okay not to have all the same interests as a couple, but don't insult them. Still tell her in advance, but wife is more in the wrong.
All right, folks, it's tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. Amber has a joke, and we'll go over the results of the pumpkin pie, the pie afterwards.
How did the buffalo say adios to his child?
How did the buffalo say adios to his child? He said, "Bye, son."
Yep.
I like that joke. That one I've heard before.
I've heard it before too. I had to switch it up though, because it's how did the buffalo say goodbye to his son, so it has everything right in there.
Yeah,
So.
it seems like a poorly formed joke here. So let's actually end this poll and see what kind of results we've got here. So we got one guess for Mega Mint. It looks like everyone likes apple pie. Not everyone. Half of everyone likes apple pie.
Apple pie is good.
And it's good. It's really good. Pumpkin pie and then other. But no one likes pecan pie.
I mean, I've had good pecan pies, but like it's hard to beat apple. And pumpkin's a classic.
Yeah, yeah. We've got chocolate and peanut butter tea. Wow. That sounds like an interesting one. Is that what you have, Sakura? Oh, you're guessing special guest. So yeah, that's an interesting tea. I like the sounds of that. June's drinking a Golden Eagle, licorice spice. We got all kinds of guesses here. I will say that nobody has guessed it right yet.
I have water.
Amber has water. I have the Earl Grey tea tonight.
Yes, since everything else was guessed, I guess by process of elimination that can be deduced.
Yeah, well, I mean, special guest was kind of unspecified, and the malter said matcha. So speaking of, oops, we're not going to the title card. Speaking of unpredictable, our next letter is titled. Our last letter is titled. Final update, am I the jerk for telling my sister that she's not allowed to bring her homemade food to Thanksgiving because her cooking is ruining the meal?
Yeah, so a brief summary for anyone who haven't heard this one. OP's sister is not a good cook, so OP told her she couldn't bring anything for Thanksgiving. OP's sister then started demanding to make this elaborate 3-course meal for everyone, including like glittered sweet potatoes or something like that. And then it turned into a giant mess.
Giant mess. We'll see the conclusion to that mess here. Thanksgiving dinner is officially over, and I genuinely don't know where to start. I feel like I've just lived through a fever dream of culinary chaos and family drama, and I need a moment to breathe before I can even process everything. My cousin and I are heading out for a few drinks to dissect all of it, because honestly, what just happened deserves its own Netflix special. I'll post photos afterwards when I get home, but for now, let me try to give you the rundown. I did check, there are no photos yet. So my sister showed up earlier than expected, which I should have seen coming. She came in like a storm, carrying not just her 3 dishes, but also this giant platter wrapped in foil, which was clearly she was trying to make a big deal about. She immediately started rearranging the table, moving my dishes to the side so that hers could take the center of the stage. She even brought her own dinner table and candles, saying that something about setting the mood for a creative dining experience. I decided not to fight her on it because at this point I just wanted to get through the night without a blow up. Her trio experience was, we'll just say, it was everything that I feared and more. She started with a glittery sweet potato mash that somehow managed to taste like a mix of sugar and sand. The glitter wasn't even edible, it was craft glitter, which I didn't realize until one of the kids said this is crunchy and I looked closer. Then there was the cranberry and oyster relish. Yes, oyster and cranberry. It looked like something had spilled jam into a clam chowder and the smell alone was enough to make me lose my appetite. Finally, she brought a pumpkin curry casserole that had raisins in it for some reason, and this weird fishy smell that clung to the air for way too long. But the piece de resistance was her surprise centerpiece dish, which turned out to be a turkey gelatin mold. Yes, she took a ground turkey, mixed it up with some kind of broth and seasoning, and turned it into a wobbly, translucent mold shaped like a turkey. She even garnished it with parsley and cherry tomatoes to make it festive. I wish I were kidding. The entire table was silent when she revealed it, except for my cousin, who immediately started coughing to cover up what I'm pretty sure was a laugh. Things hit their peak when my mom, who has been defending her this entire time, took one bite of the gelatin mold and just froze. She didn't say anything, but you could see the look of regret on her face. My sister noticed the lack of enthusiasm, decided to go on this long speech about how Thanksgiving food is too boring, and how she's trying to challenge our palates. She even called my ham and mashed potatoes uninspired, which was rich coming from someone serving glittery sand potatoes. The breaking point came when my aunt, who's usually the peacekeeper, tried the gelatin mold and actually gagged. She tried to be polite about it, but my sister saw through her reaction and completely lost it. She started yelling about how nobody in the family supports her and how we are all stuck in the past with our unoriginal food. She even accused me of sabotaging her dishes by not hyping them up enough to everyone. At this point, half the table was trying not to laugh, and the other half was just staring at their plates, probably wondering how we got here. My sister ended up storming out of the house, but not before saying something along the lines of, "You'll regret not appreciating my vision when I'm famous." She left most of her food behind, which my cousin and I quietly threw away after dinner. The rest of the night actually turned out pretty nice once the tension was gone. My dad's emergency ham was a lifesaver, and everyone agreed that next year we're either going to go to a restaurant or just skip Thanksgiving altogether. Now I'm sitting here wondering how this even became my life. I'll post photos later because you all need to see the turkey gelatin mold to believe it. But for now, I'm off to grab a drink or three with my cousin to laugh and cry over everything that went down. This Thanksgiving was truly something else, and I don't know whether to feel relieved that this is all over or brace myself for whatever fresh chaos my sister has planned for next year. Stay tuned for photos. It's going to be worth it. All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, what a saga. I hope that OP does post the photos, and if they do, we'll have to share them.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just an odd situation. The fact that she used non-edible
That's
glitter,
the part that stuck with me the most, like, because it's not going to eat plastic.
no, I think that if she is actually using like non-edible glitter, that can be dangerous
Hmm.
and it can be bad for one's health. I think that that's really not a good thing. Bye, June. We'll see you later. I really do hope that she is able to kind of see through her mistakes here. The curry doesn't sound bad. I mean, to be quite fair, to be quite honest, like curry with raisins isn't a bad idea. A pumpkin curry could probably be something, a dish that would taste all right. And I mean, I think the other ones are a little bit peculiar. Had she actually done the sweet potatoes with edible glitter, I think that that probably would have gone a lot better, right? So
Then you wouldn't be eating literal plastic.
yeah, like at that point in time, or you know, the potatoes are just not edible, or the sweet potatoes were not edible. But the one thing that kind of strikes me as odd is like the gelatin turkey. Like, okay, sure, that gelatin was a big thing in the 1950s, and I mean, I do know that people have done gelatin turkey molds, uh, but I don't know. It just seems like that kind of fell out of vogue for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you wanted, like, it's fine to do non-traditional Thanksgiving foods. We had stir fry, a veggie stir fry on Thanksgiving, but you don't have to like make entirely new dishes. You can just kind of bring in some new flavors, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Like, yeah, it might be nice to have some variety and to switch things up, but maybe leave the glitter at home.
Yeah. Well, what do the comments have to say?
Uh, so cute Spiel says, I think everyone's free to bring their own food, but no one's obligated to eat anything. Sweet Memories says it was still at OP's house. How and why? Cute Spiel says, bring it, but don't come crying when no one asks for seconds. And then Sweet Memories has some vomiting emojis. Cute Spiel says, OMG, food poisoning.
Yeah.
Mary says, cranberry and oyster, pumpkin and curry, I quit. Sakura says, I would be in the corner watching them while eating actual food. June says, that's a great update, hilarious. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving and everyone had better food than they did. Mary says, let her sit at her own little table and make her eat her own stuff. And is this an elaborate gag, pun intended? Sakura says, it's like the pink sauce lady again.
Yeah. I mean, it could be an elaborate gag. There are pizzas here that make me question whether it's real or
Well,
not,
that's why I'm
but
waiting for the photos. I'm
yeah.
like, give me the photos. I want to see this.
Like if I see the photos, then I'll believe it. Let me put it that way. And they don't look AI generated.
Yeah.
Speaking of AI generated, it's me again, Robot Brian. But that's all the time we have for today. Thanks everyone for joining us today. I hope that you're all having a great holiday. I hope everything's going all right for you.
Yeah, if you're out shopping, hopefully you've gotten some good deals. Hopefully you're staying warm. We have snow here now, sadly.
Yeah, we got a bunch of snow, so
We can send it down way to everyone who's in southern climates.
yeah, anyone who wants some snow, please come up to Maine and grab a shovel full and then take it back with you. And folks, I don't know, the last couple of years we've done a live stream on the first,
Well,
right,
the December 31st,
on
New Year's
December
Eve.
31st. This year, that's in the middle of the week, so I think we're going to probably not necessarily do that unless people really want a live stream on Wednesday in the middle of the week. So I was thinking that we could do it on December 27th. So if anyone has an objection to the 27th, just let me know. We'll have an early New Year. How's that sound? An early New Year extravaganza.
Ooh, we should make party hats.
We can do party hats. We can do party hats.
Bangor Public Library is doing like an Alice in Wonderland theme for New Year's Eve, actually. So maybe we can do like our own an Alice in Wonderland theme or
Yeah,
something.
maybe. But
I'm turning this into a costume party. Everyone come in costumes.
everyone come in costumes. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks for joining us, June and Sweet Memories and Malter and Marcia and Mary. Who else am I missing here? There was a lot of people. Sakara. Then there was Cute Spiel also. Oh, lots of people. Lots of people showed up
It's been
today.
a very busy night. It's been great hanging out with you all.
Yeah, it was great seeing you all. Thanks for joining us. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. And we'll see you again next month.
Yeah, have a great weekend. Bye.
Yeah, have a great weekend. We'll see you all later. I'll just tell everyone bye in the chat here. You can all hear me typing away. All right. Now I'm going to end the stream. Oh, yeah. So you're in Florida there, Marcia? So no thank you to the snow. Are you sure? We got plenty. Oh, that's too bad, Marcia. I'm sorry that nobody does things for your birthday. Well,
We'll have to remember.
we'll have to remember to wish you a happy birthday.
If we don't remember, tell us in the chat.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, welcome, John, and bye, John. Thanks for joining us. Let people file out here. I'll say bye as everyone goes. We'll see you later, everyone. Take care.